What is a conspiracy theory you actually believe in? That Dorothy Kilgallen didn't kill herself and the government was responsible for JFK's assassination. I don't know why the government would do something like that, but the evidence lines up. Reporters don't kill themselves when they're days away from publishing something that would crack the JFK case wide open. Also, witnesses saw FBI agents leaving her house with documents. Plus, the only person she handed her draft to wound up dead 2 days later. The draft, of course, went missing and the investigation into her death was laughable. Reagan was diagnosed with Alzheimer's when he was still in office, and his advisors told him to write a letter to the American people to be released later after it got too bad to hide. When his condition went public in 1994, they released the letter and it was almost perfect handwriting, spelling, and grammar. 6 months later he couldn't carry on a conversation. I'm convinced he didn't progress that fast in 1994 and that the entire thing was constructed over the years to look like he was mentally competent while he was president. Apple made the original AirPod memes and jokes to boost the sales on them after their sales sucked the first year. The cardboard rolls that toilet paper are on have gotten wider in diameter over the years. This is one way to make the rolls look bigger. Because 6 mega rolls equals 32 normal-sized rolls. Honestly, I find the idea gold isn't at Fort Knox any more believable. In the same vein, I doubt they keep anything important at Area 51 anymore. I bet they keep the sites up so we don't look anywhere else. Why or how? I don't care enough to think that deep. This is just something I heard that makes sense to me. Tom Cruise wants out of Scientology, but they have way too much on him and he's in too deep. That's why he does his own insane stunts and tries to outdo himself every MI movie. He doesn't care if he dies, it's his only way out. For the record, serious answer. But, there's this soup place at our local mall that's been there for 3 years now. I've never seen anyone order anything from there, and I rarely see anyone at the register. When our mall was closed due to COVID lockdown/quarantine, several locally owned stores shut down, and a few places in the food court. Last time I was there was for my birthday in August, and the soup place is still there. My mom and I have an array of theories about what it could be, ranging from money laundering to a front for drugs, but I cannot believe that place is legitimate. Bic doesn't fill their lighters with as much fluid as they used to. Rob Dyrdek has gotta have some serious dirt on someone at MTV to have ridiculousness on as much as possible, and constantly filming new episodes. That the dot bought way too many traffic cones but had nowhere to store them, so they just moved them from road to road. A good chunk of AskReddit threads are from BuzzFeed employees looking for their next article. Edit: I've been on 5 of these articles and I know you'll see this. Pay me motherfuckers or start writing your own shit. That Charles Lindbergh was responsible for his son's death. Lindbergh was a known supporter of eugenics and his son was born with abnormalities. The theory is he was responsible in some way for the kidnapping and death of his son due to the fact that he couldn't have the world know his perfect genes were tainted. That's really interesting. I knew he was a big supporter of eugenics, and fascism too, but had never heard this. He also staged a kidnapping prank a week or so before the actual kidnapping. But the kid was found fairly quickly. When the baby was discovered missing the second time, the nanny reportedly yelled, "Mr. Lindbergh, you're not hiding the baby again, are you?" The prevailing theories in mystery subreddits are either that he was playing a prank again but accidentally killed his son and staged the kidnapping to cover it up. Or because of the abnormalities, arranged for the child to be sent away, as was common back then, or adopted without anyone else knowing and then staged the kidnapping. That the FBI killed Milk due to him beginning to talk about wealth distribution, the critical falls in our economic system, and class consciousness. They were worried he could have actually sparked change and awareness in those areas. There are people out there hired by companies to make dozens of fake accounts that retweet, reblog, etc. and act like real people just to advertise products. Most construction companies in America today are run by the talentless kids of the people who actually knew construction. That's just a fact. Nepotism is a huge problem in many industries. For sure. My current boss is the husband of my boss when I first started. She's now senior VP and he's a boss under her. How the fuck this is allowed is beyond me. Conflict of interest big time in a major corporation that I work for. West Nile virus came to the US East Coast from Plum Island. This island officially has an animal disease research lab. Unofficially it's suspected as being a bioweapons research facility. Anthrax being the most known suspect. However, several diseases have suddenly appeared over the years in the area with no history. West Nile and Dutch duck disease being two big ones. There is a book Lab 257 that goes into greater detail. Everyone's going heavy with theirs, but I have one that's less serious. Baby wipe containers are purposely made so that you always pull 2 to 3 wipes out at a time and therefore need to buy more often. It's definitely something I can see Big Wipe engaging in to get just a few more containers out of us each year. Similarly, I'm pretty convinced acne washes / cleansers contain materials that cause the acne to flare up when you stop using them, so you keep buying it. Realistically, maybe it's just your skin adjusting to producing its own oils again and it'll even out after a bit, but who knows? The conspiracy that created the term conspiracy theory. Think back to the 30s, 40s, 50s. There were stories of the black cars showing up and making people that start finding out too much disappear. Enter the 60s and 70s. Mass media starts growing at a massive rate. A rate at which the government realizes that they cannot ever fully control. Their genius solution is to open the floodgates of crazy. Push a bunch of conspiracy theories into the populace that makes real conspiracy reports be ignored as just tinfoil hat crazy. Label all reports as conspiracy theory. This over time creates a societal misunderstanding in the form of the term conspiracy theory becoming equated with crazy. An example of this is I believe that there really aren't many people that truly believe the earth is flat. There are just some entities planted that push it as a theory. This then becomes one of the main examples of all conspiracy theorists are not to be taken seriously. Deflategate was a distraction from brain damage and domestic abuse scandals in the NFL. And I say this as someone who hates Tom Brady. It should have just been a small fine and forgotten quickly. But this is the type of scandal the NFL can tolerate, whereas brain injuries and domestic abuse can hurt the league's reputation. And it worked. Distraction and news cycle dominated by this for an entire off-season rather than more serious issues. Similarly, I believe that the emphasis on responding to concussions and the concussion protocol is designed to make people think that the NFL is taking CTE and associated brain injuries seriously, and that the league is also taking appropriate actions to limit brain injury. It is meant to distract from the fact that CTE's most significant root cause is repeated subconcussive impacts, which the NFL is unable to prevent. That questions like this are market research, and this question in particular is likely to be used for some pretty fucking nefarious purposes. Edit: a lot of you seem to think only BuzzFeed is interested in this data. You do you. This might not be a groundbreaking hot take, but I think that applying for disability status/benefits is intentionally made to be a convoluted mess of bureaucratic jargon and endless hoops to jump through solely so that disabled people don't take advantage of them, either because they give up trying to navigate an intentionally confusing system, or because they make a mistake along the way, and the process gets fucked up. I'm really lucky I had my mom helping me with a lot of the paperwork, because otherwise I would never be able to get the supports I need in post-secondary. It's like someone purposefully designed the process to be as unobtainable, messy, and overwhelmingly complex for a disabled person as they possibly could. That the government creates or at least promotes crazy conspiracy theories to make the true ones seem crazy by association. Dollar slice pizza places. This may not make sense to people who don't live in New York City. We have these great places that sell a plain slice of pizza, cheese only, for $1. I can't believe they make rent and payroll on volume with $1.00/slice and the going rent rates. This has to be some sort of money laundering scam, but one where no one cares because you get a slice of pizza for $1. Might not be the best pizza, but damn, $1 slice. I'll always stop in if I'm passing one on the street. This just can't be economically feasible and something else is going on. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe if you are interested in more Reddit content. See you in next video.